5 decades ago, Barry Rosenberg fell in love with the sights of Colorado. He moved here with a background working in civil rights.
It opened doors for people.
And ready to change the city.
Some people had never been to a movie theater before.
He had his own van where he picked up people with disabilities to go to the theater, restaurants, and rafting because they had no other way of getting around, including public transportation. In his world of advocacy, he knew that had to change. He worked alongside well-known activist Reverend Wade Blank.
There's something, a belief that the pen is mightier than the sword.
And that's when folks started showing up at RTD meetings.
This is 1974, and people with disabilities, you rarely see people in wheelchairs going anywhere. And here's 50 people.
But they only got a few specialized buses that ran very limited routes, and it wasn't enough.
They were not sympathetic.
They kept reaching out, they kept writing, but change kept stalling. 4 years later, July 5th, 1978.
No one knew what was going to transpire.
Protesters shut down Colfax and Broadaway. First, there was a group of 9 people in wheelchairs that blocked the front of the bus. Then another 11 protesters circled around a second bus. At that point, people had no choice but to pay attention to a group now known as the Gang of 19.
We tried the pen, we tried working together, expressing our needs. And instead of the sword, this was a cannon shot.
The protest lasted into the night as demonstrators faced off with police. It stretched into the next day, and RTD started listening.
Everything you did was worth it. You paved the way for accessibility. You changed the world.
It was a pinnacle moment that both Rosenberg and Gabe Christie with RTD say helped pass the American with Disabilities Act and changed RTD. They made their fleet more accessible and to this day have changed the way they listen to the community.
The Gang of 19 protests are a result of RTD not listening to our constituents, not listening to the people in our community. Now we have 2 advisory committees for persons with disabilities.
46 years later, Rosenberg only knows of 2 original protesters still living.
Well, 50 years is a long time, but I feel great about it.
Bob and Renata Conrad, who now live in Nebraska, and they know they changed the country.
I was on the bus one day, and this young kid came on the bus in a wheelchair, and he just had this big grin on his face. And I asked him, what's going on? He said, this is the first time in my life I've ever gotten to go anywhere without my mother. I have this whole sense of freedom.
They've also seen access to restaurants change and representation on TV, as well as a plaque in downtown Denver marking the spot where they changed the country.
Someone said we were troublemakers, and we said, well, it's good trouble.